Hey, how's it going? It's Grant
And Shelby.
with the Garden of Eater, and today we're going to be talking about Taitibees. What exactly are they? Well, to know that, we're going to have to start with last week's live stream, which was Taibees. How to make a Taibee is you take a bee shrimp, either crystal or Taiwan bee, and you cross it with any of the tiger shrimp, and that's how you get a Taibee. Now, to get a Taibee, you take a Taibee and you cross it with a Taiwan bee. So before, with Taibees, it doesn't matter what kind of bee you use, but with Taibees, or Taibees, I'm sorry, you absolutely have to use a Taibee and then a Taiwan bee on top of that. Now, a lot of this is to one's opinion and one's standards, but I honestly feel that in order for it to be a Taitibee, it has to have that double layer of pigment of one layer overshadowing another layer. So your pintos, everything from zebras to galaxy pintos, boas, uh, blue steels, red steels, fishbones, skunks, all of those would be Taitibees that have the double pigment and they're very easy to identify. So that is why you have to cross with a Taiwan bee is to get that double pigment. Now, you could also do that cross and not get a double pigment shrimp. And well, I still feel like those should just be Taibees as well. For me, the double pigment is a must in order for us to call it a Taitibee, whether it looks like a Taiwan bee, but it really has the genetics of other tigers involved in it as well, or if it, looks like a perfect absolute pinto, it cannot be a Taitibee unless it has that double pigment to my standards. But the definition says Taibee times Taiwan bee, and when you do that, if you use the original cross with a crystal shrimp and say any other type of tiger, and then cross it with a Taiwan bee, well, first generation, you're not really going to get a double pigmented shrimp where it has two layers of pigment shadowing one another. But with F2, F3, after that cross is done, you absolutely can get, some low grade pintos and blue steels, red steels. Those are always going to be the first Taitibees to show up. But if we hold our standards and set them to that, and then also taking the fact that there is, some language barrier between Asian, German, and American. And when we try to take certain crosses, we could take some of them as direct translation, like we did with some of the charts that are out there. We do have a live stream where I talk about a whole hour deep dive into the charts. And I talk about how some of them are correct in that it is this shrimp crossed with this shrimp to equal this shrimp. But it leaves out the fact that you need to do 8 to 10 generations of selective breeding and hard culling and stuff like that just to make sure that you end up with that shrimp in the end result. It doesn't just happen with X times B equals C or whatever. So you have to make sure that you're doing your culling and you stick with your standards. And for that reason, I think that we should have double pigment in order to call it a Taitibee. So that is basically what a Taitibee is. Parameters for Taitibees, because they do have that double pigment, similar to the Taiwan bees and the other bee shrimp, and not so much the Taibees and the tigers, they need the lower pH. They need the absolute, newest substrate, so that way it's fresh and not buffering in the high sixes. You need to make sure you have 0 KH and GH only minerals to make sure that. Did you leave me a note?
No.
Oh, okay. To make sure that you're getting the highest baby survival rate as possible. I believe that the double layer of pigment it looks like I'm praying every time I do that, but I'm like trying to put 2 layers of pigment on top of one another. It's harder for those ones to molt and grow, and to make sure that they have the right pH, the right amount of minerals and everything like that in order for them to just survive the first week is essential. So for that reason, I do make sure that they get the absolute best tanks. And I do say if you can keep, just normal Taiwan bees, you should also be able to keep these guys because, in essence, they do have a little bit more tiger genetics than a Taiwan bee does, but it's very, very small. At that point, there's mostly bee genes. The tiger genes are just there for pattern, not so much like what they're made of on the inside and toughness and hardiness. So, you got anything for me yet? No? All right. So if you can keep Taiwan bees, blue bolts, and stuff like that, you should be able to keep all of the other bees that I'm naming off. I say that's the hardest shrimp to keep, besides like the Sulawesi shrimp. But when you're keeping, the dwarf freshwater shrimp in the lower parameters, these are all about the same care. Really, the price difference on some of the shrimp is just depending on how new the shrimp are or how much culling is involved with keeping that line and colony looking good.
Julian asks, so what will you do with Taitibees?
Well, I'm going to basically talk about all the different Taitibees that you can create. But in a way, Taitibees are like a lot of end game for a lot of people. You can make boas, pythons, all of those shrimp are Taitibees, as well as the new orange eyes that are coming out. And I'm going to talk about those as well. But those will be later on towards the end. But right off on the beginning, though, like I mentioned earlier, the first real Taitibees and the easiest one to make are the blue steels. Red steels might be a little bit easier, but for the most part, when you're trying to cross any bees with a Taiwan bee to get the Taitibees, first generation, you get a lot of red steels. But like I meant, you get a few blue steels almost with every second generation as well. But that is not guaranteed. Sometimes you can go F2, F3 without getting any of the blue steels involved. So the blue steels, you can go either Taiwan B and Serrata genetics, or you can do the Caridina Marie. If you do the Marie, you don't really get as much as the snowflake genetics involved, where they get the speckles on the faces. You don't get the spotting and stuff. You more like just get blue bolts that have, mudded genetics. They're not pure. They will have breaks and gaps in the pigment and stuff like that. They can have splotchiness to the headgear, but not a lot of like actual snowflakes that a lot of people seek out for with the blue steels. However, with the Serrata gene, that's when you can get the crazy blues, the snowflake patterns, the ocean blues. We've got another video where I dive into all of those, but those are basically the easiest and most common Taitibees out there, just because all of the rest of the Taitibees will throw these blue steels and red steels as well. So
I realized you didn't pause so I could say something.
I'm sorry, I was on a roll.
Welcome again to the membership, Killer Kitty. I know you were a member before. Thank you for renewing.
Thank you, and welcome back.
And then Julian said, what will be the end result?
So I pretty much already dove into this.
Okay.
So yeah, we're starting off with the beginning. Now, moving past blue steels, let's say you stuck with the Caridina Marie. When I mention those tigers, I mean super tigers, orange eye blue tigers, red tigers, and the different variations of those. And if you just cross those with the Taiwan bees and then cross back with the Taiwan bees again, you can, in a couple generations, create some German pintos. Now, you will make some blue steels and red steels, of course, as well. But you will also, with a couple of selective breeding generations and culling out the Tai bees and the Taiwan B kind of offset looking Taitibees, which are also kind of, those are easier to get than German Pintos. But you call those out, and you can make the zebra pinto, the body pinto, as well as the German spot pintos, both red and black. Colors is just going to be, as easy as one another to obtain and create. So go for pattern first and then color, as I always say. However, the German pintos are really the first Taitibees that were like sought after and really put out to line breed and hit the market here in the United States. The blue steels didn't really take off until the Serrata genes started getting added and the snowflake patterns and stuff like that started to arise. Then I also mentioned like the Taiwan B broken pattern Taitibees. These are going to pop up in a lot of different crosses and stuff like that, where it looks like it's a solid black King Kong or red King Kong, or they could even have like broken lines, broken bars, and stuff like that, where they're going to show up and they look like Taiwan bees, but they're not. They're just Taitibees without any great patterns or anything to like give them a different name.
Did you already answer this?
Nope, I don't think so.
Julian said, so what's the difference between crystal shrimp and pure Taiwan bee, since they are both Taiwan bees, right?
Crystal shrimp is not a Taiwan bee. They're both bee shrimp, but one is a Taiwan bee, one is a crystal bee. So I talk about the differences between these in an entire hour-long live stream. But basically, the main difference is one has a single layer of pigment, where the Taiwan bee has 2 layers of pigment, giving them the shadow bee. And the Taiwan bees do need a little bit more precise on the pH, and lower the better for the baby survival rate. Same with the crystals, but they can get a little bit higher before the baby survival rate is compromised. All right, back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking about the Taitibees.
No, not back to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Jeremiah says, I've got some boas coming in this week. Been watching TGOE for a little now and feel 100% confident. Thanks, y'all.
Well, you also got some green emeralds coming today as well, because I caught those for you and sent them off to you. But yeah, congratulations on the boas. Hopefully you got some good babies and a good line going, and then we can get some off of you in the future, because I think that's one of the things, the lines of shrimp that we're kind of lacking in the house. We do have 4 tanks kind of dedicated to boas, but we're not really focusing on them the way we should. And realistically, those are like something we should have like 10 tanks of in the house. So getting some lines from our supporters would be something we'd like to do in the future.
Sounds so basic. I just like tiger shrimp more. It's just what it is.
You love your Galaxy Pintos, though. So
I know.
Stepping them up to some boas with some crazy pink coloration. I know you want to do that.
Yes, that is true. But someone's already doing it, and it's just like they're.
Yeah, but it's like on black. They're not on like red. So
yeah,
you could do something different, or you could do red and blue, which you do have a lot of them like that. That's why I took them off the website, is because just about all the ugly ones have blue striping to them now. Yeah. But thank you, Jeremiah, for the $10. Appreciate that.
Going off in left field now.
All right.
The amount of projects you can do when you have so many tanks, there's so many different possibilities, and even just finding a few shrimp in different tanks that are like similar in pattern and they're different achieved, and if you're like, oh great, now I got to start a new tank of all those weird ones just to get those going now. It doesn't stop, so welcome to the world of addiction.
Gotta catch them all. All right, so when you moved on from the German Pintos, it's just similar to the steels with the blue steels. There's nothing really cool or fancy or anything beyond having the Caradina Marie genes with the German Pintos. But when you add some serrata genes, you get the striping down the back, you get the dots on the face. You do have some dotting on the face with the German spot pintos, but when you add the serrata gene, you can get over the 9 spots, and you can get spots going down the body. You can get splotches. You can get the boa pattern, and all the other real crazy Taitibees that are out there basically have the serrata gene, and you don't necessarily need the Caridina Marie gene. It doesn't really do anything. However, when you get into the purples and the metallics, I do think that having both of the tiger genetics does play a part when it comes to the colors and stuff like that. Even thinking that starting over from scratch with some of the uh, cheetahs, adding in like the purple, the iridescence, and the green colorations from those. I would like to, build up some type of pinto genetics and even cross in some of my green kiwi Taitibees into those and see if we can't get some crazier green speckles or something like that mixed into the shrimp instead of just pink, orange, white, blue. I think that's it on the backline coloration. I've seen black and like purplish coloration, but it's not really a stable line.
What would you cross a cheetah with to get to that faster? Because it's just such a clear wild shrimp.
So we already have some red steels crossed with our cheetahs in the hallway. So
Right.
I would take like those blue bolts or blue steels. Sorry, I didn't mean to say blue bolts. Blue steels that have like the crazy 3-tone to deep dark metallic kind of blue coloration to them already, and then like throw in some of my female yellowish green culls from those projects. Like the 2 tanks next to them are my green tiger line projects. So the green is in those genetics, but it's far removed.
To double the pigmentation up. Is that what you're using that for?
And then maybe later on down the line, once I get the green kiwis more stable, then I can cross one of those directly with maybe a female cheetah hybrid, and that should speed things up quite a bit. But crossing in the serrata into the Taitibees, it does give you the Galaxy Pintos, the Galaxy Tigers, or Nanashi or Nanansi. They're all the exact same shrimp, just 3 different names depending on location. But here in the United States, if one name doesn't sell, they try another name, and they will try and sell it to the same person just under a different name, and somehow they fall for it. So
I wish we had a Galaxy print to show people like what you're talking about.
Yeah. But then with the Galaxy genetics, you also get the snowflakes, the snowfall, the fish bones, and the boas, the pythons, and all of those are basically just selective breeding and trying to breed out certain traits of the shrimp. And then we mentioned the different colorations on top of that.
Jada said those green kiwis you posted are fire.
And
Sorry,
then
I have to say it that way.
And then I knew that we would be talking about it tonight. And if anybody hasn't seen it, head on over to our Facebook. I just made that the banner photo, or I think it's cover photo.
The same thing. Yeah, it's a cover photo. Okay. Maybe it's called a banner because it's a page and like a business page instead of a Facebook page. I don't know.
I'm also ancient and used to use MySpace. Yeah.
Passing One said, Shelby, what shrimp would you breed to get green and pink shrimp to be named watermelon? Oh, that would be so hard. Obviously, your kiwis would be like the fastest, mixed with like one of my red galaxies. Like, I just don't know how it would mix.
But what about the pink steels? You know what I mean? I think crossing those with some of the minty steels that I have out of the greens.
Maybe.
Yeah. But it's such a hard that's something
the pink
you almost
was so hard to get for us. So.
Somebody's got to get a mutation.
Yeah, that one's
get that
one crazy. Yeah. That'd be really cool. But it'd be something like if you could get like, if only you could in some other planet be able to get yellow King Kong release to somehow start breeding green and then mix them with like red steel or something. I feel like that would be achievable, but you would have to get yellow King Kongs to end up in a green coloration, which I guess mixing maybe steels with yellow King Kongs would be a way. It doesn't really work like that though. We want it to work like it's a box of water paint, and you just mix them and they work.
You pretty much got to cross the greens and the pinks and hope for a mutation to pop up.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just mix like that. But yeah. Back to me.
Abstract says Grant has a secret MySpace account that's nothing but ice cream. And Jesse's here from Just One More Fish. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're recovering well.
Hope they let you home today. Or did they say just one more day? All right.
Just one more day. That's what it is in the hospital. So it's just one more day. And then like 3 days later, you're like, can you please let me out?
So we talked about the Serrata genes. The Serrata genes also add in the skunks, the backlines. We have some blue skunks on the website. They're basically just a panda or a black King Kong shrimp that have a line that goes from the nose all the way down to the tail, and that's basically what a skunk is. And then because of that, you can also throw that on with the zebra pattern, and that makes a fishbone. So basically, if you were to have a deceased fish and the carcass, you see the boning, the back line, and then the ribs, the spine and the ribs, basically would make the fishbone pattern on the back of the shrimp. So both of those come from the Serrata gene. So if you see any shrimp that have a backline to them, any of the Taiwan bee lookalikes or anything like that, you know that they are not pure because they have the backline, they have the Serrata genetics. Same with the fish bones on hybrids and stuff like that. You can have backlines on Aurora tigers and the cheetahs. I have never actually seen a backline though on a pure tangerine tiger. So that's something that in theory though it should be possible. It's just crazy. I've never seen.
In theory, but that's concluding that like tangerine tigers and Aurora tigers even come from the same location.
No,
They
but
come
like
from
just
different locales,
take
and
this
that's
though.
why.
I take a tangerine tiger and I cross it with a crystal shrimp, and the backline suddenly appears. But I never see it on the actual tangerines. It's in the
Never.
genetics though.
Are you sure it's not in a crystal shrimp genetics and they don't pop out until you cross it?
It's tigers. Because it won't ever pop out if you do crystals and Taiwan bees and Carradine.
But who says that crystal shrimp that you got never crossed with an Aurora tiger first? And
because you would see it. It wouldn't look like a pure crystal shrimp.
You don't think? Okay. Vibes, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Said, did someone say green emerald? Would love some.
I did on last week's live stream, and a couple people jumped on the offer and took the last of them. I do not have any green emeralds left. I am sorry to say. I mean, we have them, just not available. They need some time, and sadly, because they are all out in the garage, it is about time of the year where everything is going to be cooling off, and because the shrimp react to temperature, they breed more in the summertime when it's warmer and breed less in the wintertime when it's colder.
Koro said could be both dual recessive genes.
I don't know what that's to.
To the crystal shrimp having the backline and it having that recessive gene.
I think if it was a recessive gene like that, I don't know. I don't know the genetics to be talking like that. Next question.
Yeah. Yeah, Grant does need to write a book when he gets a chance.
Shelby needs to
Grant,
write
would
it
you
for
be
me, and I
willing
just
to
talk.
set up some pennant squares with pictures of the shrimps for us sometimes? You can wear your lab coat.
I would like to. I would. Right now, we're in the middle of getting some stands built, the backyard finished, and then once everything's done, and I won't have projects, and I'll just be able to focus on shrimp and stuff like that. As I'm doing water changes, I'll be able to take more photos. And right now, I'm not even doing water changes, so we gotta get ahead of the ball before I can start doing squares.
ECV Rider said, "What do you think about crossing pure white lines with extreme blue bulbs, and what could I get from it?"
You'll make Michelins, so you'll just get crystal shrimp because they're both um, pure. I'm assuming. Then you'll get Michelins, and the Michelins will look like crystal shrimp. And then when you cross the Michelins back, you'll get a variety of red King Kongs, black King Kongs, blue bolts, shadow pandas, Mizuros, all sorts of stuff. Um, when it relates to just crystals and Taiwan bees, and more Michelins and more crystals. So red bolts.
Julian said, "So if I have a yellow King Kong and wanted to make yellow fishbone galaxy, I need to cross it with a Serrata gene?"
No, because the yellow King Kong already has the Serrata gene too, which is another one that doesn't have the backline, and it is a tangerine tiger cross. So it is possible to have lines of Serrata genes without the backline. But it just seems with Neocaridina, it's a lot more dominant than it is in Caridina shrimp, but it is still quite a dominant gene. So if you wanted to make the fish bones, though, you just cross yellow King Kongs with anything that has a fishbone genetic. There's Tang Thai that have it, and all sorts of different fish bones. You can cross it with a galaxy if you wanted. Back to me. All right. And then I briefly talked about how I do think you need both families of tiger shrimp in order to get the purples and the metallics and the different kind of colorations that are on the Galaxy Pintos, because you can make the purple coloration and stuff like that without adding the Caridina Marie, but it's not really as stable. The Caridina Marie has that like kind of rusty kind of pigmentation when it comes to the orange eye blue tigers and stuff like that. So when I think of some of the boas and some of the metallics and whatnot, as they age, they kind of get that metallic coloration and stuff like that. And I haven't really talked about this ever on the live stream. I think this is something that just kind of came to realization not that long ago, where I'm thinking like the rusty colorization, almost all orange eye blue tigers or royals, as they get like 3 years of age, all have like a rusty coloration. Some of them get it really young, some of it don't get it until they're really mature. Some people say, oh, I've never seen it on some of them and they died of old age. Well, I've seen some of our orange eyed black tigers live up to 6 years old. So it's like, did they make it to the rusty age in their life or not? But I just think it's a matter of time. And then with the boas and other things like that, if they have that rusty genetic gene inside, as they age, that's where a lot of the cool colorations and stuff like that start to appear. So I do think that you do need both of those genetics to make the purples and the metallic colorations. Yeah, we had a black tiger orange eyed pair, or I don't know if it was like a breeding pair, male female pair, but there was two shrimp that made it to our very first international shrimp contest in Chicago, and then those same shrimp were entered into our contest in Orlando, the first American shrimp contest that was held there, and not shortly after that contest did they pass away. But yeah, it would have been a little bit over 6 years of age that the shrimp have lived for. And then we've had other shrimp that have lived for over 4 to 5 years too. So, but those two, they definitely went on tour: Dallas, Chicago, Jersey, Orlando, and I think that's it. Of course, Hernando County, Florida.
Kova says, I have picked up that it's due to the low or high pressure in the atmosphere that impacts breeding. Reasons why season dependent. It says Asian countries more consistent breeding throughout the year. So you must have like a
Yeah,
between.
but at the same time, I've heard people that are just crazy about that theory, and they swear that that's why the breeding stops. And there's somebody in their town, and during the same time of the year, that is the best breeding that they get. And no matter what state you're in, there's people here in Florida who their breeding efforts absolutely tank in the summertime because of temperature. It's understandable. And then spring and fall is their best breeding of the year, and winter kind of things little slow down a little bit, which is understandable. They breed their Caridina shrimp outside, which is crazy, on a porch, where things are a little bit temperature controlled, but not really the best. And but like these people are in Minnesota that I was referring to, where one person just doesn't even take care of their shrimp really during the wintertime because they swear they're breeding, or the other guy breeds absolutely massive amounts of shrimp in Minnesota during the winter months when the so-called pressures are low or high or whatever. So I think that's the biggest myth in shrimp keeping.
Vibes Aquatics, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, do you all have pumpkin spiced Neos?
No spice. But if you ask Shelby nice enough, I'm sure she could let go of some of her orange neocaridina, which would be the same as the pumpkins. You could call them that. You can call them orange sakura, neocaridina. But we're just very simple here with our names. We don't call nothing fantasy or anything like that. We just call them what they are.
Thank you so much, Vibes. Julian says, so for purple metallic galaxy pinto, or so how would you start it, and when you want the orange eyes as well?
So orange eyes is next. So we'll be talking about that, uh, you know, separate altogether. But if you wanted to make a purple metallic pinto, I would get the Taibee first and start with a Taiwan bee cross with, excuse me, I would use some rusty orange eye blue tigers. And then you would take the next cross and cross it back with a Taiwan bee. And then I would cross it with any type of Serrata genetic that you have. If you have any of the Taitebees that already have the Serrata gene, then that's going to be an obvious shortcut. But if you have to use Aurora Tiger or Tangerine or Cheetah, then I would use a Cheetah Tiger at this point, get those genetics in. But keeping that Taiwan bee gene, maybe you could do the Cheetah before you did the Taiwan bee gene, and then cross the Taiwan bee gene to make that Tai bee. But you might have to cross, a generation or two back with one another, so that way you get the actual double pigment. And then once you get the double pigment, don't use any of the other shrimp and just selective breed until you get the Galaxy Pinto. And then from there, I think it's just a matter of like old age and refining and culling. You'll get some shrimp that are black and white. Those are not going to have a lot of coloration to it. But almost all of the blues that have the black and blue coloration to them, as they age, they'll get a little bit of metallic coloration. Not all of them, but at least in our experience, most of our lines do. But not every line of pinto shrimp is equal. There are lines in Taiwan and Germany and stuff like that, where they breed for just solid white coloration and no purple, no metallic. That is to some breeders just not sought out for. So they want, just solid white coloration. And like for Taiwan bees, the black and white is almost gone because everybody on the market wanted shadow pandas. They're more sought out for. They sell for more money. But there are a few sticklers out there that want to stay on it and make sure that the lines are true and they have, a little bit of everything.
Koro said Opaula are famous for living upwards to 20 years, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's like a totally different kind of shrimp when you refer to Opaula and Neocaridina and Caridina. Neocaridina, I think, can live up to 4 years if you kept them in cooler climates and no heater or outside temperatures.
Kareem says, hi, just wanted to say thanks for all the info you guys share with everyone. Love the content. Been keeping Caridina since this past April, and your guys' content has helped me a lot.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching and sharing your support. Have a lot of people that reach out to us and say they watch the lives. A lot of people aren't able to watch them live, and they like the format that we've been putting out where we just stay on topic for this full hour. So thank you guys for the support, and glad to be able to crank out as much content as possible. Not as much content, as much information within our content as possible.
Any special deals coming for Black Friday? Our Black Friday sales are already listed right now.
Everything is buy 10, get 3 free. Take advantage of the free shipping on orders over 100. But all of the stock, livestock has been marked down. Some of the shrimp foods have been marked down. And then I don't think anything else to really mention.
Koba said, Orange Eye, the myth, they are blind?
I do not think that they are blind simply because they get spooked when you walk by the tank and, like without even interrupting their environment. I could understand maybe like they're able to sense the net coming after them and stuff like that. But when you're actually just trying to take a picture without touching the tank, they know you're there, and all of a sudden they turn their body to look at you so that way you're straight on so they can avoid being seen or whatever it is. But yeah, with just that observation, I believe that they're not blind at all.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's not just orange eyes, it's hollow eye, it's any shrimp will do that.
When you think about it, think about the mantis shrimp who has those beautiful bright colored eyes. It sees more colors. So just because no one's tested and been able to see that the orange eye can see doesn't mean it's not possible. Because the mantis shrimp are really crazy looking.
And by the way, anybody out there, if you have any real solid information on orange-eyed shrimp, whether they come from a cave, whether they're a wild type shrimp, where they're from, or anything like that, I would love to see that information because I get asked it all the time and I simply do not know. But I know like there's competition rules and they allow orange-eyed blue tigers, but they don't allow tangerine tigers. So one's wild, one's not. Why? I don't know if they're both wild. That'd be wrong to have that. But like one's obviously able to be selective bred, where the tangerine tigers can too. It's just not as obvious because you can get real ugly ones to produce the same ones that we have, but not consistently like what we're producing out of the same batch of babies. What's wrong?
My face looks weird.
Well, because you're making weird faces.
No, like looks like a weird, I don't know, like there's a filter on my face or something. I don't know. Here for the comments said, how are we feeling about metallic shrimp?
I like them. I don't have a lot of them. I would like more of them. They're few and far between in our house, but in the future, I could see us forking over some cash and getting them after we're done expanding and building racks. Then we can start buying some new lines of shrimp and stuff like that. But
it's the only way to really get that purple color besides the, are they the boas with the purple stripes in them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only other way. That's not metallic. That's the only purple I've actually seen that's not an actual metallic. Everything else has been metallic for purple, so of course I'm gonna like it.
But yeah, I think that they're not as easy to make, and that's why they're not as common on the market. But it could be another year or two, and I've unlocked a way to breed and out of the lines we already have, and just spit out a ton of metallics. So hopefully, one of the two comes along.
Craig said heading to get 8 new shrimp tanks, as you should, as you should.
We were just at Petco yesterday. We got 4 tanks ourselves, only because that's what we could carry in our hands, uh, and not have to get a cart.
Coral said it you should test the orange-eyed reaction to a laser pointer in the tank versus Caridina. My Neos will sometimes follow the laser like it's food. I would absolutely love to see a
We
video
did
of
that though. We tried the laser pointer with
I
the
don't
shrimp, and
remember
they
that
didn't
since
react at all.
That's not a
We
good
didn't
sign.
have a reaction at all to any of
to
our
any,
shrimp.
any
Yeah.
of the shrimp. We'll have
No.
what we're gonna do is gonna turn off the lights and we'll try it, and then we won't be able to see the shrimp though.
But like, just because they're blind doesn't mean they can't see lights and shadows. So like, I don't think that one's a fair representation of a test.
Jeff Kane, member for 18 months. Thank you so much. So definitely appreciate all the information both of you share. Milestone was off cool down.
So did we send out any of these yet?
No, not yet.
All right.
We gotta get the
Apologize.
package.
We got
We're
these at
waiting for a
Aquashella.
package.
We're waiting for our package?
Yes, I asked you several times to ask someone where it is to send out a goodie with this. We'll explain that later, but I'm still
lost.
waiting on
I'm
the
sorry.
package.
All right. But yeah, we have these.
We're putting together a package for all the members. There's one said little thing that's going in it, and we haven't got that yet.
I didn't know we had another thing. So, oh, wait. From the Bloomfields?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They've just been busy. They're moving, so I'm not rushing anyone, but I'm hoping to get all of the addresses by this weekend. I'll be reaching out to every one of you if you don't email us at the Garden of Eater at gmail.com. So that should be here, no problem. And by next week, they will all be shipped out. So,
and if you
guys.
haven't been with us for 12 months, you get a sticker, all exclusive members TGOE sticker, and it comes with a 10% off code that works even during our Black Friday sale to our site, tgoeshrimp.com.
Kids are restless tonight. But did you say it was an exclusive?
That's exclusive. Okay. The only way you can get that is by being a member with us for 12 months. So, Andy, congratulations.
Oh, nice. Member for 12 months. Thank you so much. It says drive a truck and get up at 3 a.m. so it's hard to catch you live. Just love all the information, mostly the next morning. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations on the 12 months, and make sure you email us so we can get you your prize when that's weird when I say prize, but get you your print and a little goodie bag as well.
Yeah, I would not watch us if I had to wake up at 3 a.m. I would not even be here if I had to wake up. Not a morning person, first of all. That just sounds dreadful. So don't blame you at all. But thank you for watching the replay. Vibes, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. It says, hey, beautiful Shelby. Would you let some orange Neos go? Is that sweet enough? Of course, I'd let orange Neos go. Just message us. And says, by the way, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Vibes.
Yep. Hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving this week, whether you celebrate it on the day or different days. Thank you so much, Vibes.
There's a fancy tiger question. No,
Julian says, so if you mix black galaxy fish bones and red fancy tigers, would be the same for purple shrimp, or shortcut, or not a good road to go with?
So you don't really need the black fancy tigers if you already, or the red fancy tigers. If you already have the black galaxy fish bones, then chances are you already have everything you need in there to make purples. Um, but like if you're trying to make them from scratch, I would make sure that Carotina Maria gene is in there. But almost all the lines, I believe, out there that have the Black Galaxy genetics will have the purple lines already built into them because everybody just took the German Pintos and then crossbred them with like the Yellow King Kongs, and then from there made their own Galaxy Pintos and stuff like that. So it's just like those are the lines of shrimp that came out and kind of dominated in hardiness and able to breed quickly. So I think the genetics are there. You just got to let the shrimp mature. But I wouldn't use the fancy tigers. You're better off using some Nanashi or something else.
I just think it's funny, Night Owls. Like, I have to stay away from Petco. I still have tanks from the last sale to set up. Grant doesn't feel like that's ever an option. We have to make room regardless. And I mean, no room whatsoever that we'll just have to litter empty tanks around the house that doesn't have room.
Listen,
Kicking them at everything.
I'm trying to make sure that we get this other rack done before the sale ends. And then if the rack isn't done before the sale ends, we at least have the tanks. So
Easy V Rider says, have you seen TBS shrimp group on band? The shrimp on there seem unreal. Do you know if they are legit?
yeah, so they've entered in the international contest that was just in North Carolina this past year.
Who's that? What? TBS?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's the Brothers Shrimp is what it stands for. And then they're sold exclusively by Ho Win, who does sell some shrimp, but they are all imports. So if you're looking for something exclusive, it's not a bad option, but it is just a risky investment if you ask me. Not a lot of the shrimp do that well, but you know they do have the high end options with the Brothers Shrimp being their supplier.
Yeah. And then some of them are real, like obviously Poe has them and I've seen them in person. They are insane. But we had someone else that was breeding just like almost identical to theirs. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the purple and blue in that shrimp sometimes in the boa shrimp, it's unbelievable. Like it looks like someone painted it on.
Just the one thing I gotta say, when buying from anybody that you're trying to get the higher end stuff, hold the seller accountable for quality. If you feel like it doesn't hold up to your standards of what you thought you were going to be paid, hold them accountable. Have that conversation with them, because a lot of times they take advantage of people that don't know, the quality and what kind of shrimp they're supposed to be getting. So.
Craig's Catfish Cake, member for 10 months. Thank you so much. So close. Scuba said, what brand shrimp nets do you guys use again? Anything we can get our hold. I'm just kidding. Anything we can get usually.
So I really like the Shrimp King brand of shrimp nets. They don't rust. The netting is good enough that the shrimp legs and antenna don't get ripped off or stuck or anything like that. They're not the easiest net to catch and work with. It's this net right here, so you kind of gotta open up the net and move it around. There are little box nets that are way easier to catch a ton of shrimp with, but I don't complain. I work with what I got because we have so many tanks and need a net for every single tank that we're working in, so that way I don't have to clean the nets or anything like that when working from one tank to another. So there are a lot of nets, and I do like the Shrimp King ones because they don't rust. The problem with the box nets are they do kind of rust. They're not as strong. Those Shrimp King nets are indestructible, and the box nets you can like bend them too hard and kind of mess them up.
realistically, if anyone ever knows someone that actually makes nets, we need to know, because like I want to make our own net, because I want it to be the quality of the Shrimp King net, but have the different box, the square net, because it's just so much easier because it keeps its shape. It's just like we had glass catchers for a while, which were amazing. I loved it because it was so easy to catch the shrimp with, but like there was downsides to where like the water could accidentally pour out the other end, because if you're just not paying attention like I do, it's not fun and you get
Is that
soaking wet.
Stephen P with 10 gifts?
10 gifts. Where did it go?
I said
and I just
horrible,
became a
so
member,
it
so
is
I
Stephen
feel
P.
so bad.
And all I saw when I
Second
saw
time
his
I've had this happen,
icon,
too.
when I saw the icon, I
Uh-huh.
was like, you know what? Their channel, if you're a member to their channel, they had those little magnets. And
Oh,
like,
those are so
where
cool.
did my magnet go?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's on the fridge, probably,
Is it?
or in a box.
I think it's in a box somewhere, and I
collect a
have
lot of
not
things in a
seen it.
box.
I haven't seen it, and I'm like, where did that thing go? So,
Oh, did you get the just from the Keystone?
yeah, from the Keystone Clash, they
Uh,
had like
I
all of
probably
their
put everything in a box. Everything's in a box right now.
little
Like all our
keepsake
stuff
box.
that needs to be put up and all the signs and stuff. Thank you so much, Stephen B. As we go off into left field.
I'm just
with
saying,
our
I don't
own
have
brain.
anything as cool as you guys do for your prints. I know Sam
Wow.
Scale print is pretty cool, but they did magnets of their stuff that's related to their stream. So
yeah, it's cool. So if you were just gifted a lovely membership from Stephen P., you do get your membership sticker. Just email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com and I will get that shipped out to you, as well as a discount to our website, which is we leave in the card. You could also email us for that previous to an order if you want to order before we ship it out, and then I'll just include the sticker in the box. I'm trying to put thoughts together. It's not working tonight. But welcome to the membership. I'll read it off real quick. Scuba, for some reason, I keep getting gifted a membership, probably because I message back all the time. I should just use your phone and our members so that doesn't
you'll
happen
still
anymore.
get it. You'll still get it.
And then Richard Reynolds, Coro, Thorntrap, Skipper, Benjamin Peters, Malcolm Reynolds, Big Steve, Renee, and that is all I see right now. I hope that was 10.
Congratulations, guys. Send us an email if you want your sticker and your code that you can use right now during our Black Friday sales. All right, so 8 more minutes. Let's dive into the orange-eyed genetics of the Taitibees. So also somebody wanted the orange-eyed boas. Now that is a totally different project. If I wanted to make Galaxy Pintos from scratch, I would personally be happy with making it happen within 8 to 10 generations of work. But if I wanted orange-eyed, I think it would be fair enough to add on another 10 generations of work without getting upset. I'm saying it's possible to do it also in a shorter amount of generations. I'm also going to say it could take even longer than that. But the reason why is that double pigment, that double layer, is very hard to get. If you take the most common ones, which are the orange-eyed black devils and the orange-eyed red devils, even those aren't really double layers of pigment. The orange-eyed black devils are basically just black tiger orange eye hybrids that you can no longer call black tiger orange eyes anymore because they have different genetics inside of them. But the orange-eyed red devils almost look like a red King Kong with the orange eyes. However, they don't really have that double layer of pigment on them. They're pretty much a really deep red glow, translucent color to the body. There is, however, orange-eyed blue steels that have the white body, as well as red steels that have the white body. And that's pretty much the first step of any of the Taitibees. And that is also true here with the orange-eyed genetics as well. And the whole white gene comes into play. I don't like the name white gene. I'm not a geneticist. I don't think that's what they would name this genetic either. to me, I think that's just simply the double pigment, and it's hard to go from a crystal shrimp crossing with a tiger shrimp and then getting the white layer of pigment at all. And if you take it with a tangerine tiger, you're going to struggle for a generation or two just to get the orange pigmentation out of there before you get any of the white to show up. So that white pigment, that white gene or whatever you want to call it, is just harder when it comes to hybrids, period. So when you take on the orange eyed and the recessive gene and how you get blondes to black tiger orange eyes and blue tiger shrimp, and it's all the same exact shrimp anyways, it's just the coloration is higher grade with the white. So it's harder to get, it's more sought out for, it's more expensive. And that's where the whole like, oh, it's harder to get or it's impossible or it's only a few lines is because there was only a few amount of people that were even trying to do that. But now that it's out there, you're going to see it pop up in the hobby a lot more common. Just recently, there was a orange-eyed pinto shrimp that was posted where it's like, oh, I could see boas becoming a thing in the next, year or so. There was already orange-eyed Nanashi where you have the double pigment of white, you have the kind of red King Kong red coloration to them as well, and then just selective breeding those out to get the pintos and then to get the galaxy pintos to boas. It's just a matter of time of selective breeding now. So it's definitely doable. Are you trying to show me something?
Cora said, "What do you mean white shell or white flesh in the shrimp?"
I didn't say white flesh in the shrimp. I'm just talking about white pigmentation at all. So just the white color on the shrimp.
On the shell.
So like a red crystal shrimp has red and white bars. Just getting the white bars or white stripes or spots is harder on any kind of Taiwan bee cross or Taitibee, Tang Tai. And then with orange eye, it seems like it's even harder. But the problem is it's so orange eye tiger genetic just to get the orange eyes that you lose a lot of the white pigmentation. So to bring that back, it just takes some time. It takes more work. And that's why it seems like it's rare or impossible. But in reality, it's just lagging behind the curve on what is known to be possible.
So Night Owl Aquatics, member for 14 months. Thank you so much. Says, I guess I'll finally have to get some green shrimp. Is a picture an emerald? No, that is Grant's Caridina, the kiwi.
So hand it over. So this is probably the best Taitibee that we have in the entire house right now. The glare. I'm sorry. It's just not going to be possible to get a good picture of that with our mic. Sorry. No, not our
light
webcam.
Yeah.
and light. But yeah. But it is basically a dream that died and then came revived. We got our first Taiwan bees probably 9 years ago in January as Green Hulks. I bought them off of a breeder who was very trusted. He was a good friend of mine in the hobby. And within a month or so, the green coloration started turning black on me. And before I knew it, I only had 2 greens left. And I had spent a lot of money. I think it was $40 a shrimp. And, at the time, buying 10 of them, it was a big investment for us. Especially, they weren't our first Taiwan or our first Caridina shrimp. We had crystals and orange eye blue tigers, but we had never spent over $10 per shrimp before this. So, and I didn't know if they were going to survive. This was our first time setting up a Caridina tank. So all the shrimp changed color on me, and I kind of complained about it. I ended up getting a good refund, not an entire refund, because I would have still been happy with nice Black King Kong. So that's basically what I took the difference for on those. And then I constantly try to breed them out, and I always kept and held on to the greens that just stayed green the longest. And eventually, Pintos came out, and I started crossing this line, and I did get some really nice green Pintos and other shrimp that were, cool morphs and stuff. And I tried to selectively breed those out, and basically ended up down every single road that I didn't think I was going to go down, and the greens just disappeared. And then out of those, I made the black and blue skunks, also red skunks, crazy blues, blue steels, and the yellow King Kongs popped up, and we started making the yellow galaxies out of this line. And then again, we had a green pop up, minty green steels, and some other shrimp. And we've just now, for the last year, been heavily selective breeding the greens. I posted a picture today, kind of like the first colony shot of the green kiwis. And they are actually green where they stay green and they don't turn black. But if you look, they have like the yellow pigment around the green. I think their base is yellow with a green overlap, where the green hulks were a blue base with a green overlap, making them black once they matured. So these don't mature to black. All right.
Scott Williams said, "What genetics are in your black Taibees?"
It's kind of like a mixed match. There's just a bunch going on in those. Orange eye blue tigers, crystal shrimp, tangerine tigers, ghost bees. They're so cheap because I don't really want to have to select a breed or go down those lines. It's just to give somebody a good stable shrimp. I got to take a break and go blow my nose. You got to let me out real quick. There's no way for me to get out of this.
Trapped him in. Benjamin Peters said, "My Petco doesn't have any carts big enough to put tanks in, and you have to carry them out by hand. Doesn't stop me, though. I just make people wait." Every Petco we have gone to usually does not have enough carts, or so our local one has a flatbed, which I think they had to push for. And usually it's completely filled up with product, or they'll put like an online order on it with like a couple tanks, and we have to take off all the stuff on the online order to put all the tanks on. We're like, "We'll promise we'll be right back." They know us by now at our local one, but the one we actually get the most tanks from, because no one really goes to this one, is like about an hour south of us. And when we get there, their carts are like really skinny, about the width of a 10-gallon tank. And then like you can fit like 4 or 5 of them standing up, but it's so skinny. It's so skinny. And then it's got these handles, and if you pull up on it, it comes off. Like the handle just comes out. I don't understand the purpose of these carts or what they were actually used for, but they are just inconvenient. And I would hate to work at Petco. Like I would absolutely hate it there. It just seems like they have really inconvenient things for them. I have not read any of these others. Richard says, "Shelby, do you need me to grab some tanks down here?" I don't know. We might, because we haven't had time to travel. So Grandma might appreciate that, because I know that we do need to take a trip down. We're worried that this might be the last sale of the year, because sometimes they do that where it's only a certain amount of dollar per gallon sales that they do per year, and then they just stop. So I think last year we did the same thing, where it was around this time where we get the projects done and they were not going back on sale, so we couldn't get tanks for a little bit. But I don't know how many that we actually need right now, because we still have to build the first stand to know the other 2 stands and how they're going to look. So
it's not building the first stand, it's building the second stand to
yeah.
configure the TV, to figure out how much room we have.
No, the first stand is going to be the TV with the smaller tanks.
First stand's going to hold all the 10 gallons that we have to buy from Petco while it's on sale. Then we worry about...
We have a rack in the garage that can hold all those. But Richard said...
No, because the rack only holds so many tanks, and we need like 70 tanks. And it's not going to hold that, so...
He did
We
say
might have
if
to
you
go
want.
hit a couple of Petcos in other counties.
Yeah, Richard
to load up.
asked if you want him to grab
Please
tanks.
grab the 10s. Yes, that would be lovely, Richard.
Still haven't read anything. Hold on. Usually I'm reading while you're talking, so now I have to read. So Killer Kitty says, "What's your favorite shrimp food that you sell?"
It's the Complete by Shrimp Envy. Just all around, if you're gonna have to pick one food, it's got it all. So it's a complete food. I don't recommend using just one food. I really love the Mineral Junkie by Glass Garden. I also love the Growth, Shrimp Envy Growth, and the Shell as well. But I like the Complete if I had to pick one. And Shelby agrees.
Do I?
I don't know. If you don't, you gotta say it. Speak now.
Complete is, if I had to choose only one food, it would have to be Complete. But if I get to choose a fun food, I really do like, I don't know. Well, that's the problem. I do like a lot of the foods separately. But for one, it would always be Complete because it is everything, just like Grant said.
Did you
But
talk
I
about
think
the
the
3D
dandelion
printers
is
already?
cool. No.
No.
Why would I talk about them?
They asked, do y'all
I know.
use
I messaged them and said that Tube
Oh.
Dog does, that we don't use 3D printers.
No. But Toot Dog has some hides that we've been using for the fish and the eels. They like them.
Mm-hmm. And Dee Dee said, "Does Shelby get a discount on labor now?" That'd be so nice. Because I got the membership. I should get a discount somehow. No. He'll buy me some shrimp. That'll be my little treat. Yeah. That sucks. The one shrimp I wanted from the Bloomfields, I waited way too long to mention it to Grant that they're already sold out. So it sucks.
They just sold out yesterday. If I had,
Oh my
no,
God.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I don't know when they're
stop.
sold
Okay.
out.
You're really making me upset there.
I did message them though, so they're gonna see when they take down the tanks what they got left.
J-Dub says, "I order my tanks from Petco with curbside pickup, so they bring out to the car for me."
Yeah, I like to pick my tanks out in the store. There's been some gross
That's
stuff
cool.
in the tanks that we've left a couple behind.
Yeah, sometimes you do have to check all the sealing too, because you freaked me out the other day when I was washing the tanks. That'll be a great video coming up. But one of the seals, like a whole, I don't want to say the word, the seal was laying on the ground, and I was like looking at it, and I'm like, I pick up the tank and I'm looking at every little angle. I'm like, there's no way. I was so worried that when you go to fill up a tank, one of them was gonna bust. I'm like trying to find it.
Well, they're not all filled.
Yeah. Oh.
they're like there's still some empty ones.
I
and then
checked the one
most of
it
them
was
are not filled
like
up halfway,
in. So I think someone else just pulled it off of some other tank and it's just laying in there. But man, was I just worried. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Maybe I should go look for water on the floor.
I mean, I checked every tank when I was cleaning them, so we're good. I checked every seal. But yeah, it made me worried. And then Jaden picked it up and thought it was just a toy.
I like walking into Petco and being like, "Where's the cart?" And they're like, "Oh, up front." I'm like, "No, I need the push cart." And they're like, "Why do you need that?" I'm like, "I want all the tanks. Give me them all."
It is funny when they have a new person and they don't know us, but most of them look at us and they're like, all right. I was explaining earlier that sometimes they have online orders that we have to take off to use the carts, but they know.
We were at Petco last night, and the guy in line goes, "What are you building?" Like, he was so interested because we were just holding tanks. And I had to show him some pictures on the phone, and he's like, "Oh man, that's really cool." And then the lady at the cash register was like getting upset when it took her forever to come help us in the first place. So yeah, it was a good conversation about some shrimp that just randomly, because we were holding a bunch of aquariums. So
it was so
maybe
funny
they
when
got in the hobby.
When you walked out the door, the guy was like, "Good luck." And it's just like, if he only knew, he would be telling you you're crazy as he's walking by, like, instead of good luck, thinking this would be like your first 4 shrimp things.
I showed him the rack that we built, but I didn't
okay.
tell him we had 400 aquariums in the house.
Because he just said good luck. I just thought it was so funny. Kareem said, "What would happen if you mix orange-eyed blue devil with orange-eyed royal blue?"
You get nothing but orange-eyed blue devils out of it because there's a stigma on what's an orange-eyed blue devil and what's an orange-eyed black devil, and like there's different variations of quality of the orange-eyed blue devils. I've seen orange-eyed blue devils that look like crazy blues, where it's two different colors of blue, which would be an orange-eyed blue steel, but like it's an orange-eyed blue devil to some people too. But then at the same time, there's orange-eyed royal blues that are not true orange-eyed royal blues, so they would have to be called orange-eyed blue devils. And if they're not black, they're not orange-eyed black devils. But like in essence, your cross right there, you would not get any orange-eyed royal blues, so you'd have to call them something else, right? And I'm sure you'd get some orange-eyed Taibees and or other kind of like non-solid blue shrimp as well out of that result.
Aaron Armstrong, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, "I'll email you about my dragon's bloods. They're stupid shrimp. I love them and hate them." Good to know.
Yeah, just let me know. If you're having any issues or anything like that, send me your parameters and your water maintenance regimen routine, and I can get you on track.
Thank you so much. Ichthy's Aquatics said, "Grant, do you dream about shrimp?"
I definitely have dreams where I left the RO water on and stuff like that.
Like
I've
you've
had
left it
dreams
on.
about having to catch a massive amount of shrimp, and Shelby's not there to help me. Those are nightmares.
That's a nightmare to him.
For sure.
He would have a conniption fit.
Yeah, but not too many, and not like I don't have it. Sadly, I haven't had like a dream where I'm shrunk down to like shrimp size and I'm like in the tank or anything.
You're going to tonight.
Oh, that'd
Just
be
keep
lovely.
manifesting it.
That'd be lovely.
We have to watch that movie together, and that's when it'll happen. There's a movie about people. It's not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's a movie about like how you pay or you get shrunk and then you become like a billionaire because you're not taking up like as much resources. So it's like actually pretty funny, and it's all these like miniature people, and then they become like so rich.
I do have a lot of dreams about the fish shows and setting up the shrimp contest, though. I don't know why. Like
I have trauma from that. They're nightmares. Sometimes I feel like I'm an endless loop of setting up shrimp tanks. It's actually kind of scary.
they're almost all at the Renaissance in Chicago, though.
It's just you smell the food. You're like, food?
I never get it though. Even in the dream.
I know. One of these times, what we got to do
I haven't had
is
a
get
dream.
an outfit,
I
a
haven't had a
traditional
dream about
outfit.
it since we've had the Indian food. So like now, like maybe that's why they stopped, because I've had it. I know how good it is now.
Yeah. You know, we're just going to get a traditional outfit that's so nice that we can crash the wedding and just pretend that we're there or we were invited.
We'll stick out. And then
I
get
know.
beat up.
That's fine. It'll be worth the food, right? Abstract said, okay,
If we get the food.
he always asks the coolest questions. Says, okay, if each one of you were a mad scientist, what unique traits would you give your shrimp? You first?
The ability to mass produce. Like,
You kind of already do.
no, I'm talking
Like something fun.
no, I'm talking like
It's not fun.
fruit fly levels. Like just quick. Like within, instead of 30-day hatch rate, it's a 6-hour hatch rate. Pew 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 pew.
They would probably die faster. There's just no way you could get that to like without
And
them
I'd give them
dying
the
faster.
ability to live forever. So boom. Top that, Shelby.
Unique.
Top
I
that.
guess
You should have
could
gone
give them
first. You should have gone first.
multiple traits.
Oh, and 2 heads. I got that one. Can't take that.
You know what? My first answer to this was to like make them like beefy and like cute little beefy, bigger shrimp, almost like prawn size, just beefy ones.
Leave it to Shelby
like,
to make the pug
I-
shrimp. Oh my god.
No, someone
No.
today posted a picture of like a failed molt. So it's like all its nostrils are like shoved up, and everyone just commented all down below pug memes. I love my pug.
Joe Rogan was
So
having
cute.
a conversation about like how there's like not like there's stupid other animal breeds and stuff like that, but like there
You better
isn't
not
one
say
for
pug.
dogs.
And I'm just going in my head. I'm screaming, Pug, Pug. It's the dumbest dog breed out there. Just say it, Pug.
Stop.
Please say it, Pug. And then he said something else, and I'm like, no, Pug. And yeah, so
The internet kicked out for a second. I think we're good though. Looks like we're still live. But I wouldn't want like a super strong shrimp because I feel like if I made them beefier, that I wouldn't be able to catch them very easily. So like I couldn't. It is a good question because it gets you thinking of like what you would actually do for genetics and make them cooler. But I couldn't think of anything awesome. Grant.
well, we are off topic now for sure, but it is over the hour. You can ask us whatever shrimp questions you have. If there's anything on Taitibees that I didn't cover, ask, and I'll go back into that. But I do have a couple other things to keep the flow going, as you might say.
Craig said, "What is the largest crystal black shrimp measured? I have a couple reaching 1 inch or close, so they're big."
So 3 centimeters is what I would consider the average adult shrimp size. So you could definitely have 4 centimeters or like 1.5 inches would be like the biggest I've ever seen one of our Caridina shrimp get. I've seen Neos get about the same size. But they are few and far between that reach that size. Like I can go to each rack maybe and find 1 or 2 shrimp that meet those colossal sizes. And it is the older the shrimp, the bigger it gets. Just like reptiles, shrimp do not stop growing. That is why they molt until they die, because every molt is them growing out of their old skin. They get too big, they have to shed, or else they will get trapped and die of claustrophobia inside their own molts. That's not scientifically true, but it's a joke.
Johnny said, "Is the brown diatom algae beneficial for the shrimp, or should I remove the brown diatom algae of the glass of mixed red pinto shrimp in a 7.5-gallon cube with distilled water and be shrimp GH plus?"
Absolutely, it is great. I personally would have all of the tanks just left the way they are with brown algae all over them and never clean it if it weren't for the fact that we couldn't take photos. I'm sure Shelby would just personally always want the clean glass regardless of taking photos or not, but the brown glass I think is a little bit better than the green, but it doesn't matter. Green, clear, brown, I don't think one is that much more beneficial than the other. It's just surface area for biofilm to grow on, and the brown diatom algae does not compete with the biofilm. It'll just kind of grow over one another. So yeah, it's beneficial for the shrimp. Leave it, but clean off the fronts of the glass if you'd like.
Killer Kitty, no, we were saying kiwis, not QBs.
No, we were saying kiwis. You were right the first time.
Yeah. That's what I just said. Why did you say it like I was saying it was wrong?
I don't know.
Scuba said, "Bring a pallet jack to Petco day is over, bro." I wish the Petco was near my work so I could bring my pallet jack over from my work too, but I only have a
And just leave them in the
PetSmart.
office until we're ready to get them. That would be
no,
so
I don't
nice.
have room in my back room to do anything with that, okay? That would not happen. I would be just loading them up and then loading them into the truck.
Just keep them in the bathrooms.
Stop.
It's back to me.
Yeah.
All right. So it is coming into the holiday season, and we will be hosting giveaways with all of our live streams throughout the month of December. I think somebody just posted that Fish Fam Christmas is starting to get it back into gear. If one of those people that are in charge of watching that are watching that and they can just sign us up for the same thing we did last year, that would be lovely. But if we got to do something, somebody just send us the link so we could take care of that and get involved. But on top of that, if Santa is on our channel or not, we will still be doing giveaways. But besides that, there's also 2 other chances for us to give out some stuff, and it's also possible within doing it before the end of the year. We are like 100 or like less than 200 followers away from 5,000 on Facebook. So we'll be doing like $100 giveaway on Facebook when that happens. So if you're not following us on Facebook, go ahead, follow us, give us a like on that. It'd be much appreciated. We have been making posts every single day on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is just not very feasible for us. We don't get a lot of interaction or anything on there, but it is easy because it is linked to Facebook, so they both get posted at the same time. But we're nowhere really close to anything on Instagram, but Facebook is definitely doable by the end of the year. And then on top of that, we're less than 130 followers on YouTube. I imagine everyone here now is also already following us, but commenting, sharing our videos and stuff like that will help us get that goal by the end of the year. So that would be much appreciated. I think we're going to do that just with our organic growth anyways, but when we do reach 6K, we'll be doing a totally separate giveaway for that as well. Not quite as big as the 5K giveaway, but we will be doing something there. And then on top of that, we've got our Black Friday sales going on now. Shrimp plants, some of the foods are already marked down, and then everything is buy 10, get 3 free. These are our best deals of the entire year. They don't get better than this, and we are already selling out of quite a few shrimp. So if there's something on your wish list, quantities are limited on a lot of this stuff. So get them before it is actually Black Friday would be my suggestion. Back to you, back to me.
Okay, Julian said, how many times per week / month would you feed the shrimp if you just started a colony of 10 to 15 shrimp?
So I would wait your first week before you feed any of your shrimp, assuming that you cycled your tank for 30 days. If you did not cycle your tank for 30 days, you might want to start feeding them after the 3rd day. Feed a very small amount of food, enough food that they eat all of it within the first 2 or 3 hours. Anything after 3 hours, remove that from the tank, and then try and keep a guess on how much food you removed, and feed that much less food the next time you feed, and wait 2 to 3 days before you feed again. If they ate all of it within the first hour, then feed more 2 days from that. We feed every other day. And then, from there, it's just as the colony grows, feed a little bit more food.
Scuba was joking about how you're going to Hawaii in March to crash Harley's wedding.
I don't have to go to Hawaii. I can just send one of my cousins.
And then it's not Fish Fam Christmas this year. It's Secret Santa. People are also asking if we were running any sales for the Secret Santa event that's going on. We need to know about the event and be educated before we make that comment. So tune in next week on the live stream, and we'll explain what we're doing for Christmas and our involvement on Secret Santa and what we're going to do on the website. So if you might want to write that down just so we don't forget.
All right. Well, there is a little reason why we are so far behind and out of it on the news. We have been just one thing after another since the Keystone Clash. Not going to lie, far behind on maintenance on a lot of things. We got a lot done after the Keystone Clash because Gary Lane came to town, and I wanted the house to be nice enough for him to come by and check it out. But since then, we've had Aquashella, we've had a show in South Carolina, we've had a show in Coral Springs, we've done a collecting trip, And then when we got back from all of that, we got a letter from what I thought was a scam, and it wasn't legit. But turns out our insurance company is dropping us at the end of the year, and we've got to shop around and find new insurance. And at first, it seemed like we had to find it within like 2 weeks or so. But now we do have a little bit of a break because we can wait, not really wait, but not have to cram it all before Thanksgiving and get it all done. We can wait until things cool off. We can catch up on things. We're doing both orders through the website as well as maintenance and tackling off some of the things that we got to do. There's no real solid fence around our pool in the backyard. It is kind of a fence off with the IBC totes, and then we have another fence beyond that, but it's not complete. There are gaps so our dogs can get around the backyard and stuff. So we kind of got a fence in the backyard. We had to remove the deck in our backyard. We are going to recycle some of that wood and turn it into a tortoise pen. Something we've wanted to do for a really long time. They're just kind of forcing our hand now and getting it done a lot sooner. And then on top of that, our pool has to be spotless if they want fish to be involved in it at all. So we are covering up the hot tub so that way there's no light penetration there or any algae in the hot tub. And then, if anyone were to go into our pool, we'd be able to see them clearly, even if they're on the bottom of our pool now. Shelby's gone through and pressure washed like 90% of the pool. So it'll be back to spotless here soon.
Johnny said, what water test in Caradina a shrimp tank determines it's time for a water change?
So I wouldn't use the test kits to determine when to change your water because there's a lot of factors that take in place that I don't even know about, we don't test for, that I think are beneficial for doing your water changes. So do your water changes on average around 10% every week. If you do them every other week, do 20%. The more you do, the better, in my opinion. We do 40 to 60% every other week. And I find that is great for the moss as well and other plants and to keep algae away. But you want to make sure your ammonia, your nits are always at 0 with your shrimp tanks. If they're not, you definitely want to make sure you do a water change.
Thoughts on yellow-eyed Neocaridina? I have a couple in a Skittles/coal tanks.
So are they actually orange-eyed or do they have black pupils? Because if they have the black pupil, then they're not really anything. And I find that a lot of the low-grade Neocaridina will just have no coloration around the pupils. And it gives them that orange-eyed or white coloration look, but they're not legit. But anyways, with all the shows and the insurance company and all the Black Friday sales, we haven't had much time to check out our favorite channels and watch some of our streams that we do and stuff like that. So if somebody wanted to just, reach out to us and fill us in on some of the stuff we should be doing or need to fill out, it would be much appreciated. Back to me.
Johnny said, Taitibee, how and what types make them?
So that was pretty much the whole first part of the stream tonight.
I don't think he was in until
yeah.
not long ago.
But basically it's a Taibee crossed with a Taiwan bee. And from there you can get steels, crazy blues, ocean blues, galaxy pintos, German pintos, skunks, fish bones, purples, metallics, nanashi, and stuff like that. But we did really dive into that in the first hour of tonight's live stream for you.
Back to you.
Back to me. So this week we did, however, get the stand done. When we first got the letter from the insurance company, called my mom. My mom's like, oh, it sounds like a scam. We called our insurance agent and they said, oh, nothing's come across our desk. So my mom was basically like, oh, don't worry about it. continue life as usual, business as usual for us. Let's build another stand. So we got the stand, the wood, everything cut and built, and then find out, oh yeah, the insurance company is actually wanting to drop everybody in the state of Florida, and we've got to find a new insurance company. But the stand is also in our way. And like we were talking about the sale for Petco, we can only hold so many tanks. So the stand needed to get done so that way we could go through and buy more tanks, get the stand out of our way, get the PVC out of our way, and all the substrate bags and everything like that that is taking up space in our garage, just so that way we can move through, make our life a little bit easier. So we did finish the stand. Shelby put on a coat of primer and the oil-based paint like we do for all of our other stands. And then we have tanks on the rack, substrate, aqua soil, and all the tanks that are for Caridina. The bottom row we'll be using for Neo Caridina, like we've been doing all the other stands in the living room. So figured keep the trend there. Might do a different type of substrate, but all the Caridina tanks that have the substrate in them, of course, we put a little bit of water. And then in the water, we've got the minerals as well as 2 different types of bacteria, and then the fertilizer, as well as some enzymes to feed. Maybe not enzyme isn't the right word, but Brightwell sold some other bacteria starter product that I had lying around that I figured I might as well use to get these tanks going. And the water is basically just sitting in those tanks for like 2 days. I like to just kind of let the water colonize and the substrate get all of the bacteria, and then we'll get the pumps running, fill the tanks up with more bacteria, and start the cycle then. And honestly, I just didn't have enough RO water to fill up all of the aquariums at the time, so this method just works. And today we were too busy with orders, so I didn't have time to fill up the rest of the tanks. So for 2 days, colonizing the substrate with bacteria and keeping all of the tanks nice and fresh. It also keeps the tanks in place in case one of our dogs decides to bump them. They're not going anywhere with the weight of the water and the substrate in them. What do you got going on?
I'm just seeing why I look yellow. It looks so weird. It's different on each device that we have too.
Yeah.
It's really bothering me. It's like a weird, like I have jaundice, which
Yeah,
I
I was just
had when
gonna
I was
say.
born. So like, am I jaundice? Do I look yellow right now to you?
No.
Like I worry about it all the
You're
time.
pale because of the white light. That's about it.
I feel like it's making me yellow, not pale. It's weird.
I think it's because you got a tan. You're just not as white as me. I'm just white. You're at least have like pigment.
Matt, remember he
coloration.
doesn't read the chat, but Matt's trying to get my messenger to talk to me, and Jenna needs to help him, but he just says, "None of your business, Grant. She's mine now."
Cheers.
Benjamin said, "I'm glowing, like radioactive, yellow."
Maybe it's time to invest in like a nice.
Camera.
No, not camera.
It's the camera.
It's a light. The
It's the
camera.
camera.
I don't think it's the camera.
Even if I change the color on this thing,
I mean, it's gonna make you yellower.
It's no, like that's the thing. It's not the white light. Matt Hagen says,
Anybody has a light to recommend for live streams that's not going to make Shelby yellow? Let us know.
Matt said, any experience with Super Tigers? They seem hard to establish a company compared
A colony.
colony. I don't know how
If you're
I
trying
wrote
to
that.
establish
Company.
a company with super tigers, I could see that being difficult.
Yeah, colony compared to other Caridina.
So we've got a few tanks breeding the super tigers. Once upon a time, we had super tigers breeding out the wazoo, and I was like, all right, these guys are rivaling the tangerine tigers on who's going to be the stronger tiger and faster breeder and stuff like that. and I got cocky with myself, and I was like, I'm never gonna have a problem with these guys, so I'll leave one tank for just super tigers, and then I'll use my other tanks for crossbreeding projects. Rico Nico had posted some really cool tigers that were yellow with the tiger striping, and I figured the fastest way to make those were using the super tigers with the yellow King Kongs. And he was like, yeah, that's kind of how I did it. So I went down that road in one tank, and then in another tank, I was like, well, is he using orange-eyed yellow King Kong? So I used orange-eyed yellow King Kongs in another one to try and make orange-eyed super tigers, or not super tigers, orange-eyed yellow tigers with the black lines, which we did. I can successfully say I wasted a line of super tigers to make a different line of shrimp that I'm happy about. So it wasn't a waste to me. To me, it was worth it. But then on the other hand, we have two other tanks of mutts, and then we had the whole leak situation happen in Jaden's room where we had a hot water pipe underneath his floor burst, and we had to totally gut and tear out all the aquariums in his room. Guess where all the good super tiger tanks were? In his room. And they did not like the move when we moved them into other tanks to kind of split up the colony, make the move less risky. They just haven't started going again in those tanks. I do not think they like the lower pH. So if you have a brand new fresh Caridina tank, they don't seem to like that one. In one of the other aquariums where we moved them in, the tank is now like 3 years old, and the pH is just starting to creep up a little bit. I do think they like that 6.4 to 6.6 pH range and do a little bit better right there. Same with the Aurora Blue Tigers. And for that, reason, plus me using them for crossbreeding, they just haven't really established yet. I have one tank where they are creeping and starting to go and breed again. So I have hope for them. But like, I really don't know why other people have such hard time with the super tigers. I do know that there's a lot of lines of super tigers out there that are not pure. There's a lot of people that were crossing them with orange-eyed blue tigers. So if you ever see a line that has orange-eyed super tigers come out of them, those are not pure. Those are crossed with orange-eyed blue tigers. And yeah, they're not legit. Next one, back to me.
Yeah.
So the new rack is done. It's holding 32 aquariums. I thought it was only going to hold 28, but I was like, making a smaller rack doesn't make sense to me. So we are sacrificing a little bit of wiggle room in the front door, but it is okay. We can still get through.
Eric says, Ava was a jaundice baby too. She had spent a day and a half in the UV incubator. Yeah, I spent a whole day. I came out golden. They literally called me the golden child because I came out gold. I think Jaden and Layla, but they only had to spend an hour under the lights, but that's because they were C-section babies.
Matt just asked, do we have an old cell phone? No.
Yeah, it's because I keep saying that the coloration's off. So, and how like all our phones are different and stuff. So SC Catahoula said just turn on the reptile UV lights. But right now it's just the problem of like all the different lighting we have around us. They're all just different.
It could be affecting it.
Mm-hmm. Johnny said, what do you get when mixing tangerine tiger with a red crystal shrimp?
So Taibee or Tang Tai is the specific term when you cross anything with a tangerine tiger hybrid. When you cross anything with a tangerine tiger, the first 2 generations are going to look almost just like tangerine tigers. Instead of black, you might get a little bit of red speckling or striping to it, but nothing really cool is going to come out of that cross.
Eric said, we called her mellow yellow because she didn't cry as much as Max. She was straight yellow. You should just buy her like every Christmas like a mellow yellow like charm or necklace, or it'd be so funny.
Just remind her, get a mellow yellow and be like, you used to be so precious every time she acts up.
You got to lean closer like me. Put your face next to me. It's got to be the light. Yes, it is the light. Okay.
No.
Look how yellow I get.
Don't lean so close. Stay back
I
here.
know, but even with my context, I like to read. I don't
Read
know
it
what it
from
is.
there. No.
No, it's just not the same.
Okay.
But it
Gotcha.
is definitely the light.
Can we make this bigger for
we
you?
have definitely
No.
make what bigger? Oh,
This.
that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna have to complain to StreamYard. Just be like, do you not understand? Do you not have inclusivity? Inclusivity. I can't say it. Can you just be inclusive with the people that can't read? Okay. Especially when you get older, your eyes are just gonna get worse. Abstract said, "Who needs a front door? Just make a tunnel under the house, and you can put more tanks." We can't in Florida,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But if we could, I know he would do something like that. He'd be like, "No, you can't come through the front door. Come over here." And it'd be like the dungeon. What was that? Like the most popular like side basement thing and like cellar. You open up the doors and go in. I just can't remember what creepy movie
Storm
it was
cellar
from.
from like any of the tornado.
No, that's far. Twister was like ridiculously far away from their home. Unrealistic. It's.
Oh, everybody's got a storm cellar for a tornado.
I know, but theirs was like
Tornado.
they had to like run to it. It was like far off, and then they pulled their little. Yeah, man, it's been so long since
But,
I've
like,
watched that movie.
if I had gone
watched
to
that movie.
engineering school, I probably would have tried to tunnel into the cavern underneath our house because we have a big sinkhole underneath there, and then just like structurally supported it so we could have like an underground layer of aquariums,
Yeah.
and that's where we kept all of the snake heads and the stingrays and all the stuff FWC doesn't want us to keep.
Sorry, Nathan. Hashtag what? Speak louder. Come a little closer. I can't see you. It sounds like my life is coming too. What? Oh, but we're caught up again in chat.
Yeah, I don't know what else we really got going on. The only other thing I have on my list is it's Thanksgiving this weekend. So
Really?
this week, not this weekend. So everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and hope everybody enjoys it. I'm not signing off. I'm just saying,
Goodbye. Okay,
happy
sorry.
Thanksgiving. Just want to make sure.
Ryan said, "Have you guys ever seen the dude with the underground pond with the sturgeons and etc.? Do something like that? I've seen the electric eel guy.
Not an electric
and I've
eel,
never
just the
seen
American eel guy.
No, there's an electric eel guy. He literally like makes a joke about electrifying and like he's got these stepping stones he's got.
No, that's the American eel guy.
We need to look this up because I'm pretty sure it's electric eels.
Nah,
There's
you
like
guys
a whole
know.
video. Maybe it's
the
clickbait.
American eel guy that
Maybe
has
it's
it in
clickbait.
a little. It's like a little.
It's a basement.
Yeah, but it's like a
Concrete
little round.
basement. Hatch.
Yeah, but
I've never seen the hatch. I've just seen it go into the basement. It's filled with water and then like little concrete stones you could step on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're American
Like
eels.
pavers.
And then
American eel is what Eric says.
Yeah. But I haven't seen the sturgeon one. I've definitely seen the eel one. Those guys, those are cool. But in Florida, though, we realistically, the ground is just not made for basements, let alone secret layers of ponds.
Yeah. Unless we were like, it would be so cool if we just became so rich and so YouTube famous that we could buy is it Kennedy's bunker in Florida?
I have no idea.
There's a bunker in Florida, and it's like one of the president's bunkers, but it goes down a little bit. That would be pretty cool to be able to buy that and then just like fish or
There is a basement in one of the golf courses that we go to. We just wait for them to go out of business.
Cow Turtle is his channel. SC Catahula says, "What are Missouri?"
Missouri is the pattern on the head where it is different pattern on the head than it is the body. So you can have Missouri PRL or crystal shrimp. You can have Missouri yellow King Kongs where it's just yellow on the head, clear body. Missouri shadow panda, or not shadow panda, blue bolts or shadow bees would be the blue bolts that have a headgear, the black pattern on the head. The Missouri pintos, it's just referring to a pattern on the shrimp itself.
So it is American eels, and he has some sturgeons down there with the eels and crabs.
I haven't seen updates in a while, so I didn't know. I'm jealous of the sturgeon. There's some sturgeon at Aquashello. Man, one day I want them for the pool.
Are those going to do well with koi and turtle?
Yeah.
And then Abstract said, do you have crabs?
No crabs. We've done the vampire crabs in the past and never really any luck, but like we get only males every time, so it'd be nice to maybe give it a go and start breeding them, but we've never really found like a good source. I do know there's like one of my friends that breeds like 3 or 4 different varieties of them. I just can't remember who it is. I would just make a post on Facebook when I'm ready. One day we'll do it again.
I
The
see
vampire crabs.
I don't know anyone that breeds them besides I just know people that import them. So that's the problem though, is most of them are imported. I don't know anyone that actually breeds them yet, and they're just hard to keep alive. They're really cool, but they just don't seem to survive. If anyone's had a tank for longer than a year or 2, I would be absolutely shocked. They're just extremely hard to keep alive. There's that one lady on TikTok that keeps that blue crab. I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I just don't know if anyone's bred them or anything. Julian said, so I just got into Caridina shrimp and it seems so hard to understand the genetics. Have any tips on how to simplify it?
No, there's no real tips on how to simplify it. Pretty much, if you want to know something or you want a certain kind of shrimp, ask that question on it. But there's so many different roads you can take. There's so many different methods of just keeping Caridina shrimp in general. So you just kind of got to pick your poison. That's why we do all the individual live streams of fancy tigers or galaxy pintos or Taibees or Taitibees. So if you did want to go into one of those videos and learn more, you can watch it at 2 times the speed and get an entire hour's worth of information in 30 minutes. And we do a little banter and chatter and a little off-topic discussion here and there, but we try to keep that as short as possible or worth it if it's anything.
Ryan said, how did you guys keep vampire crabs? So we had a cool little terrarium set up for them with flowing water.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Like
they had water and land.
Two-third land, 1/3 water. We've tried 2/3 water, 1/3 land. We've tried just a structure coming out of the water. We've tried little areas for them to burrow. And then when they burrowed, we never saw them. So at one point we thought they were gone, and we tore down the tank a year and a half later, and there was still one burrowed in the substrate that just never showed himself. So we found that guy a new home and tore down the tank and haven't tried for him again since. So, but I did mention we got all males, so they could have been territorial and not really giving them a large enough space. But we did 30-gallon paludariums.
I cannot tell you how many times, first getting into the hobby, and I guarantee you so many people have that happen where they get all males of everything, because at pet stores that's what they sell. It's mainly males of anything, and even mom and pop shops, they don't really have. It's the breeder wants to dump all their males, so they'll go to a pet store and dump it because the males are just so pretty. So then you go buy all these pretty fish, and you're like, oh great, what am I doing with 50 males in the tank and no females? This is pointless. Okay. So it's good for people that want to show tank, but it sucks for anyone wanting to breed. This is hello from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I don't know why I mispronounced that, probably still, and having issues with that. Thank you for joining us from Canada. That is awesome. And Richard says, I think Ryan's breeding panther crabs. That's cool. Those are fully
aquatic,
though.
Is he actually breeding them?
I'm pretty sure those are fully aquatic. That's the difference, is vampires have to have, maybe not. Maybe panther crabs need to have land.
No, I think they're fully aquatic because at the Keystone Clash, Ed's tank that he escaped was 4 panther crabs.
Oh.
And there was no room for them to get out of the tank or anything like that, I believe.
This is pretty cool. I've been keeping Caridina since 8. Wow. Nice. Well, welcome. YFI member for 1 month says, "Have a great Thanksgiving." Thank you.
You too.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes. 8 years. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we've been keeping them for 10 years. January, not quite 10 years yet. We've been keeping shrimp for 10 years in the hobby now. But it took us 2 months to get onto the Caradina bandwagon from keeping Neos. We did red cherries, then blue velvets, and then the blue velvets crashed. I held on to one, used those to cross with the red cherries, and I made a red really blue body. And then that was when I had the confidence to go and get the crystal reds and then the orange eye blue tigers. And then shortly after, realized, oh, we need bright water, we need substrate, and then set up everything and got the green hulks, Taiwan bees.
It's crazy to think about what the process on one at one point, Caradina to me especially just seems so complicated. It was like so much work. But once you get it set up and you know how to do it, then it's like, oh, these are super easy. These are nothing. It's like it's so much easier than doing any of the special killing fish I'm trying to do. Then I'm like, oh, these are actually difficult.
I look forward to when I can just do my Caradina water changes on a normal basis. It's so nice.
Abstract said, sweet potato or pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin pie.
But are you talking about sweet potato? What's your grandma make? The sweet potato? Is that what it is with the marshmallows on top? Is that the sweet potato thing? Because I would choose that over pumpkin pie any day.
Yeah, but like the real winner is the squash.
I wouldn't want a sweet potato.
Top. That's the real winner.
Yeah, I like that too. Both of those are really good. Now I'm looking forward to those dinners.
Yeah.
But if it was a sweet potato pie, no, that would be gross. I would definitely choose pumpkin pie. But if you're talking like sweet potato casserole, that'd be some good stuff.
But pumpkin pie, I usually eat a lot of pumpkin pie. It's been a very slow year for pumpkin for me this so far, but there's still time. There's the whole month of December I'll probably consume. Going to the grocery store tomorrow, pumpkin pie on the list.
Yeah, have fun shopping tomorrow too. Last minute shoppers for Thanksgiving.
No, not yet. Last minute shoppers are on
That's
Wednesday.
usually me. Roland says, you know what's the hard part of keeping them? Knowledge about genetics and tried to create it new parents' colors. Yeah, for sure.
If you just set up the tank the right way and you mix your water the right way, keeping them is a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that,
speaking
am
of
I supposed to make a pavlova?
I mean, you're the one at Halloween said, "I'll make a pavlova," and my grandpa was like, "Oh, sounds great."
Okay, well, you need to get all those ingredients.
Well, I should. Yeah, well, the following week is the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society.
That early?
Yeah, it's the first Saturday of the month, so I might as well buy all of the sugar and eggs for two, or four. I mean, because you make two for both, and then we'll just buy fresh fruit the day before tea bass.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. We got 7 more minutes. Anybody have any questions about tonight's live stream or anything like that? Any shrimp questions? Need any help? Other than that, we really just had the Black Friday sales. I talked about a lot of the shrimp already coming off the site, being sold out. But everything is buy 10, get 3 free. Take advantage of the free shipping on orders over $100. And then on top of that, it is the cheapest prices on shrimp and plants of the entire year. Also, if anybody out there is looking for shrimp or plants that are not on our website, you can reach out to us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. I can give you an ETA on when the shrimp will be ready, or I can hunt down some plants. We will be doing regular orders through the nurseries, and I've already had a couple people reach out to us to ask for specific plants that I probably wouldn't carry or keep around ourselves, but like the papyrus for ponds and stuff like that, we've ordered for them. Bought one pot for ourselves just to get it started, but there is a lot of plants out there that we don't offer on the website that we can get through our nursery connection. So if anybody's hunting something down, you can let us know and we can add that to our orders when we're ordering our next batch. You got nothing else to mention? Nothing to talk about? Oh man, no more questions. Craig broke the mic.
No.
I broke mine. Oh, not Mike.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Big reach stick. Yeah, no. Nothing to really talk about.
All right, well, I guess we can wrap this up a little bit earlier rather than just awkwardness for 3 minutes at the end, 5 minutes at the end.
Julian
Oh, wait.
said, really, thanks. Learning a lot from your live stream. Wish that there was some chart for us to make it easier to learn crossbreeding, but you guys are the real deal with help. Thanks, Grant.
Yeah, no problem. We really just need to get some free time to put together some charts. Shelby's got all of the editing and creativity down. I think she could really come up with some really cool chart designs, and she's probably the better photographer. So if I just say, hey, we need to get photos of these shrimp, she'll probably come up with more of the photos for the charts as well. So definitely want to get to the charts. Shelby's working 2 days a week, maybe only 3 or 4 weeks out of every month. So she's not really working that much. Probably by January, February, she'll be giving her notice and leaving altogether, and we'll have more time to start doing stuff like that. We really got to start doing some YouTube videos now that we have another rack finished. All the racks in Jaden's room are completed, so kind of got to get cracking, do some of those videos for you guys, get you caught up. Shelby's got some great ideas on test kit videos, and then right after that, she's got like 3 more videos she wants to try and get done. So we're pretty much going to be going back and forth on knocking out videos and getting them done. The insurance really kind of messed things up. Instead of us spending a day taking care of a video and then another day editing, we've just been working out in the backyard, getting things prepped and cleaned and stuff like that.
At least have shorts for you, though.
Shelby will have some shorts. We cleaned off the waders, so that way we weren't cross-contaminating any of our koi fish in the pool with something from the ponds and stuff that we collected out in Florida, and was using those to pressure wash the side of the pool. It is actually a little bit cold here in Florida, not like freezing or anything like that, but the water temperature is colder than what we would like. So yeah, the waders came in handy, and now basically we just got to pressure or drain the pool and pressure wash the bottom of it, and that'll be done. And we won't have to worry about insurance saying anything about that, but we like to do it once a year. We did it once already this year, and then the pump basically blew out on us and stopped pumping water to the filter and just basically made a fountain in the middle of our pool when we went down to the Everglades for 5 days. So it happened, but we also had a hurricane come in and took our shade sails down for too long and created a green water bloom, and so it hadn't looked the best when the insurance company sent a drone over the top of our house. So we get that taken care of in the next couple of days, build a new fence, and then we'll be back to the normal a little bit around the house. So
Dee Dee said, I listened to all your videos, live streams on your channel. It has made my shrimp keeping much better. Thank you, Dee Dee.
You have definitely turned into the crazy shrimp lady, but happy to hear that you are having success. It means you'll stick around and maybe you get something going and have an own line of shrimp that will buy off of you in the future. I look forward to that.
It'll be so much fun. Abstract said, "May your days be blessed and your bellies be full. Eat till you pass out." That's a great one.
And we're having 2 separate days for Thanksgiving instead of Thanksgiving 2 dinners on the same day.
Which is great.
Yeah, because my stomach honestly can't take it this year. I think I'm at a record high on my weight right now. I think I'm well over the 200 digit.
Yeah, we just give up till after the holidays because it's just too much treats and all these things, and you're just like, it's gonna happen anyways.
And I eat all of the desserts after I've already eaten all of the sides and main course that I want. It's brutal.
We do need to also get stuff to make biscuits. Don't let me forget that.
All right.
I love to make my biscuits. Everyone usually likes those.
All right, last one.
Johnny said 2 out of 6 mixed red pintos left. What would you suggest I can buy because they need some company?
Honestly, anything. You could do Tang Thai. You can do some red steels. Red steels are not a bad one because you're going to get a good mix of red pintos still with breeding with the red steels. And they're cheap and hardy as can be. So probably red steels. Oh, we got
Julian
one
said, last quick question. Red Rusty Tiger is a hybrid or a pure?
You could have them pure, but you could also find them from sellers as hybrids. So that one's a tricky one. You really got to look at the colony overall and the offspring, but you can get the red tigers that will have the rusty blue coloration to them as well. And technically you can cross the red tigers with the orange-eyed blue tigers and get orange-eyed, rusty blue tigers with the red tiger stripes, or non-orange-eyed ones as well. And they would still be pure Caridina Marie. So it's kind of a tricky question to answer, but in theory, yes, they could be pure, but you got to be careful for the fakes.
And member for 18 months. Thank you so much. Said happy Shrimpsgiving and Turkey Day.
Yeah.
And
thank you everyone for watching. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.